These are the diehards. I like it. If you're in this room, it's 2 o'clock. These are the diehards. This is my kind of crowd right here. I'm excited that you're all here. We're going to get started in a few more minutes. A couple quick things. My name is Josh Sushan. I'm the play-by-play announcer for the AAA Albuquerque Isotopes. Yeah, go Topes. Who knows how the Isotopes got their name? Raise your hand. Is there anyone in this room who likes the TV show The Simpsons?
Oh, yeah.
Now does anybody know how the Isotopes got their name?
Montgomery Burns.
On The Simpsons, it was the Springfield Isotopes. There's an episode called Hungry, Hungry Homer. Homer walks into a room and he sees all of this Albuquerque Isotopes, hats, pennants, t-shirts. And he realizes that his beloved Springfield Isotopes are going to move to Albuquerque. So what does he do? He goes on a hunger strike and he raises awareness, and at the end of the episode, Homer saves the day. Springfield Isotopes do not move to Albuquerque. Meanwhile, in real life, there had been a team called the Albuquerque Dukes. They left after 2000, and there was no baseball team in Albuquerque for 2 years. People in Albuquerque thought life's a whole lot better when we have a baseball team. So they renovated the old stadium. They spent $25 million in taxpayer dollars to renovate the stadium. They basically wiped it clean and built a brand new one. Now it came time for a new name. That episode of The Simpsons happened to come out as construction was undergoing at the renovated ballpark in Albuquerque. We put it to a vote in the local newspaper. Overwhelmingly, 65% of residents in Albuquerque voted that they wanted the name to be the Isotopes because of that Simpsons episode. And so because of that, that is why we are called the Albuquerque Isotopes. If you ever come to our ballpark, and I encourage you to do so, we have statues of Homer and Marge and Bart and Lisa. We have all kinds of Simpsons stuff, Breaking Bad stuff, Mariachi stuff, and I have killed enough time. It is time to begin the Q&A. We're going to go ahead and get started here as we wait for a couple of other people, but let's start with some introductions. The far end is Chris Forbes. He is the farm director. Give it up for Chris.
Yeah.
How about Brody Brett? He was a first-round pick in 2024 out of the University of Iowa. Give it up for Brody. And give it up for Griffin Herring. He was a sixth-round pick in 2024. The Rockies got him in the Ryan McMahon trade.
Yeah.
And we also have Charlie Condon, first-round draft pick. Give it up
Yeah.
And Sean Sullivan. Give it up for Sean.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some of your questions. I've got some questions as well. But I want to start with the farm director, Chris. First of all, how many of you were here when we did a similar thing at 10 a.m.? One person was here. Okay, so we're going to try to make it different, but there might be a couple of questions that overlap. But Chris, start off with, let everyone know what matters most when you determine where someone is going to be placed and when they get advanced up the minor league level.
I think a lot of it determines kind of, we talked about at the first session, by repeating the jokes, just bear with me, it's been a long week. Yeah. Okay, I just felt like it is, okay. Ultimately, you see where they're at physically, we'll see where they're at mentally, for the pitchers on the stage, you kind of see how their arsenal is developed, where we can challenge them, where we can protect some guys. Brody's got an eye with Jack now. Okay. So ultimately, you truly assess where he's at from a physical performance standpoint, mental skills standpoint, our athletic training, how healthy he is, and we try to create the best plan at the best level. Some guys get taken out of the draft and you want to protect them in that first full season, which is typically for us Fresno. They maybe get kicked back if they're a pitcher. If they're a hitter, you try to kind of scale their bats and plan off days and just kind of get them used to the grind of the minor league season.
All right, I'm going to start with a favorite question that was written by someone. And unfortunately, they did not put a name down. What other sports did you play after age 12? Because I'm a believer in playing multiple sports and being athletic. So let's go down the line. After age 12, what sports did you guys play? Maybe add how that helped you, playing another sport, how that helped you play baseball.
Yeah, I played basketball in my junior year of high school, and then my senior year I actually played hockey. I grew up in the Northeast, so it was popular up there, but I always loved playing other sports. I think, you look at some of the best athletes, they kind of do it all. They play basketball, they're always kind of just athletic, so I think just always kind of moving around, the active body, maybe athletic, kind of puts you through good motions to kind of play.
I played basketball up through like middle school, I guess, like 7th and 8th grade, but kind of interferes with baseball, so I just stuck with baseball, football in high school. Played up until my junior year in football, and decided to focus.
How did football help you play baseball?
I think there's definitely a toughness aspect to it. Just like the mental grind, like every day. Like I mean, you don't particularly want to go to football practice. And, like I went to a pretty big high school in Texas, so like when you were was my quarterback, if any of y'all know what that is. So like it was a legit program, so I was kind of getting beat up in practice, especially when freshman sophomore year.
I played, baseball, football, basketball, and ran track too. Just kept me really busy, and sports is all I knew, and it's what I wanted to do. So it just always kept me doing something, and just had a lot of fun doing it.
What position did you play?
I was a receiver in football. Basketball, I stopped playing freshman year, and then I was sprinting in the track.
I played baseball, basketball, football. I quit basketball after middle school. Just got weeded out. Not enough talent there. Couldn't dribble. Couldn't really facilitate the ball at all. And then I played quarterback in my high school until through my senior year. Obviously baseball the whole way through, but I think the biggest aspect of it is just the toughness that football brings. It's a lot of long, grueling days, hot out in the summer heat. So just the camaraderie that comes with that, and just learn to get your teeth kicked in and get back up.
All right, this next question, we're just going to go with the two pitchers. What would you relay to prospect pitchers for success as a professional baseball player? Start with you, Sean.
I think, getting into the professional world can be kind of different than college a lot, and I think staying to kind of your process and staying focused is a big thing that kind of has helped me a lot. I think it's really easy to get caught up in the thinking about moving up and all that, and I think just being able to stick to your process, stick to your task at hand each day, and just kind of going in daily with an intent to get better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Similar thought process. Just the difference in college, you're playing 3, maybe 4 games a week versus pro ball. It's 6 games a week for 6 months straight. So it's just a different type of mental state that you need to be in. Just a lot of focus, a lot of everyday. You got to try to enjoy it too a little bit more. Maybe you can't be too in your head about it every day.
I think it's 2 things. One is just finding a routine. As a starter, right, you're pitching every, 5 or 6 days. So just finding a routine, hey, day 1 I'm doing this, day 2, 3, 4, getting ready for, your next start is really big. And then just focusing on control what you can control, right? As a pitcher, no matter how good or bad an outing was, whenever you go back and watch it, it usually wasn't as good as you thought it was, and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. And really the only thing you can control is, the execution of a pitch. Sometimes you throw a great pitch and the batter, sticks his, bat out there and it goes over first baseman's head, and that's just part of the game. So not getting caught up in the results, the ERA, all this stuff, like just, chasing execution.
All right, I like this other question too, and the question is, how do you handle failure and setbacks on the field? There's obviously a lot of failure that happens in baseball. We'll start with Charlie down on the end. Is it a parent? Is it a teammate? Is it a coach? Like, how do you handle your failures, even if you haven't had a whole lot so far?
Definitely have had my fair share of failure. I think everybody that plays the game of baseball does. And so I think that's really the biggest thing you have to remember is that nobody goes through this game without feeling like just without the failure aspect of the game. It's too failure oriented to get caught up and really down in the dumps about having a bad day just because there's no avoiding it. And so that's where just the bond that you create with your teammates, knowing that the guy next to you and the guy in the locker next to you has probably had a very similar experience or similar feeling. And so just it's about being able to lean on your teammates when you need to lean on them, but then also reciprocating. And when the guy next to you, is in the dumps, like being there for him. And so just kind of like having that back and forth, that two-way streak of knowing that everybody knows what it feels like to fail, and everybody knows it's no fun. So just being able to stick up for each other is huge.
I just got to know that it's part of the game. That the best in the world, fail, and for me, it's not win or lose; it's win or learn. And every time you hit adversity or you get some failure, you got to use it as feedback, right? What went wrong? How can I fix it? And how can I get better? So you just have to know that it's part of the game, and if you learn from it each time, then you're only going to be better than you were. So.
Yeah, I think obviously everybody deals with it. I think in the back of your mind a little bit, like when there is failure, it should be something that's driving you. It should be something that's pushing you, that little like itch in the back of your brain telling you to work a little harder, do this, do that. So I think it's just always a good learning point and something that you just have to move on from. You can't dwell on it.
Yeah, I think as kind of these guys stated, baseball is a game of failure, and obviously we all strive for perfection. And I think that's kind of what's helped us get this far. And I think, being a perfectionist isn't easy when you're playing a game of failure. So I think you going in with that mindset, knowing, you're going to be challenged. It's not going to be, 6 up, 6, or 3 up, 3 down every inning. It's not going to be just shutout innings, home runs. There's going to be a lot of dog days in the summer. And you're going to have to find a way to help the team.
All right, we got some specific questions for people. Griffin, you're the one who was not drafted by the Rockies. You were acquired in an in-season trade last year from the Yankees. Let's start with, where were you? How did you find out that you had been traded?
It was my start day. I was sitting in my room and I got a call from an ex-teammate, and he said, "Congratulations on becoming a Rocky." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And then I proceeded to do a little bit of looking around on social media and whatever else, and I guess these things happen, and just was in limbo for a little bit, but got everything ironed out. Had some great conversations on the phone. Get to know Forbes, get some flight information, and get out to Arizona as soon as possible.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I don't even need to I was on a flight. Just bear with me, okay? I was on a flight. We made the trade, and I land, and Spinney's like, "You gotta call this kid. It's getting out that information." I was like, "I was on a flight."
No, well, in a perfect world, nothing ever gets leaked. But obviously, we live in the age of Twitter and everything else, so nothing either side can do there. Just is what it is.
So I think for the trading deadline, this is a fun topic for me because I love the trade deadline. Fans love the trade deadline. Who are we getting? Who do we give up? But there's the human side that we just heard. Imagine if someone came up to you tomorrow and said, "You've been traded. This guy's going to call you. You're moving across the country tomorrow." Explain the human side of what it means to suddenly know your life has totally changed, not because of anything that you did.
Honestly, you really just try to take the human aspect out of it, I think, as much as possible. You just kind of it's a business at the end of the day. You love everybody in your org, you love all the people around you, but at the end of the day, you could be the guy to get sent off or whatever it is, so you just got to be ready to, you live out of a bag, you just keep that mindset, like I'm here to play and I'm here to perform wherever I'm at.
And when you make it to the major leagues in that field and the Yankees come here to Coors Field for interleague, how much are you going to stick it to them?
Woo!
As hard as I can.
Yeah!
All right, we have a specific question here for Sean. First, how is your hip feeling? Maybe explain what happened to your hip for those who don't know.
Yeah, so last October I had hip labrum surgery, which is never any fun if anyone's gone through any injury. But yeah, it's feeling a lot better. I think the training staff, Dr. Gennario, all the trainers work together. We worked really hard, and I think we're in a great spot right now. I think this off season has been very productive, and being able to actually train and work out again, not just relearn how to walk. But yeah, I think I'm ready to hit the ground running this spring training and go from there.
Is there a target date for when you can compete? Is it opening day? Is it May? Is there a target
no,
date?
all good. I ended up making it out to Hartford last year. I want to say like May I was there. But yeah, so I ended up going out to Hartford and I got a good chunk of season under my belt, so I was happy with that. So.
All right, this same card also wants to know, in an era of velocity, discuss how your arm slot and changeup give you an edge.
Yeah, I think if anyone's seen me pitch, it's not very like normal. I think a lot of people think I throw kind of funky. It's very unique. It's kind of like a lower arm slot, and I'm left-handed. And I think there's a couple different factors, such as like extension, which is, I mean, these are like big baseball terms, but it's basically how far you get towards the plate, and a bunch of different factors. Kind of my fastball perceives differently. It's kind of an advanced answer, but I don't really know how to explain it either. Maybe Forbes could help with that.
All right, we got a question for Charlie. Do you feel any pressure to be a successful major leaguer?
I mean, I think everybody sitting up here feels pressure. I think even everybody out there feels pressure. You know, with you hold yourself to a certain standard, and people around you hold yourself to a standard. But I think as long as the standard that you hold yourself to internally is higher than what anybody else expects of you, it's hard to ever really feel that uncomfortable. So I know that I've come from a situation where I was very much an underdog and an under-recruited guy going into college. I was a preferred walk-on at my school, and ended up putting myself in a position to get drafted really high. And so, yeah, that kind of puts a target on your back. But at the same time, I'm the one who put that target on my back. I want it there. I think the best guys are guys that are trying to be hunted. And yeah, if I'm the guy that everybody wants to strike out and get out, then good. At least you're not the guy that's like, oh, you're supposed to strike him out. So I think that little bit of target's good. It's good competition, but you know, just continuing to earn that target.
All right, I got another one for Brody. We mentioned earlier you played football, wide receiver. Do you feel like a football player on the mound? Do you take like a football mentality out there when you're on the mound?
I mean, I do, yeah. You know, definitely like, you know, it's me versus, you know, this guy, like I want to dominate and win, but you know, it took me a little bit to kind of like figure out how to kind of like reset out on the mound. Like football is really easy. You can go, you know, hit a guy, whatever, and it's totally legal. You know, you do that here, you're probably getting thrown out. So for me, it took me a little bit to like figure out how to channel, you know, some anger, or, you know, getting over a, you know, error or a, you know, bad call by the ump or whatever. And so, you know, I kind of had to change that mentality of it. But as far as like me competing out there, like it's, you know, it's 100%, you know, I'm gonna win no matter what. So it definitely helps for sure.
Who hit you the hardest playing college football?
Jack Campbell in practice. He's a linebacker. He just won linebacker of the year for the Detroit Lions. First team All-Pro dudes. And he hit me in high school too. But yeah, no, he's a good player. So.
Griffin, when you were in college, you were at LSU. One of your teammates was somebody named Paul Skeens. What did you learn from Paul, watching him prepare, watching him pitch? What did you learn from Paul?
I mean, his attention to detail in his preparation, just like watching the way that he would operate on a daily basis really just gave you a lot of context to why he performed the way that he did and why he had that level of confidence. I think it's easy for a lot of people to look at him out there and be like, this is like a massive dude throwing 100, like, and he's dominating. Like, obviously he should, and like he should just be doing that. But like, if you saw the difference between him even in that fall of 2023 compared to that season, I mean, he's making improvements and he's still improving. So that was something that I learned a lot. Was just it's constantly a process. And I mean, I would promise you, if you went and asked him right now, even after the Cy Young and whatever else, like if he was satisfied with that, like he would say no. And that's just kind of that type of mentality I think a lot of these guys at the big league level have, and that's kind of what it takes.
Anybody watch Paul when he was at Air Force? Just raise your hand. I saw him at Air Force. Unbelievable. Catcher, DH, closer. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable hitter when he was at Air Force. All right, next topic is the ASB challenge system. Are you familiar with this? Raise your hand. Okay, so we've been using this challenge system at AAA the last few years. It's coming to the major leagues. I'm going to give you a quick overview. Each team starts with 2 challenges. If you get the challenge right, you retain the challenge. If you get the challenge wrong, you lose it. You only get 2. The signal is you tap the top of your head. The only 3 people who can challenge a call are the pitcher, the catcher, and the batter. And you have to do so immediately. The dugout cannot yell anything at you, and you have to do it almost immediately. If the umpire thinks that you got any help from the dugout, they will not allow you to challenge the call. Pops up on the video board, takes about 5 seconds or so, and you find out whether the call was correct by the umpire or whether the call was incorrect. I want to start with Chris Forbes. What is the Rockies' philosophy on how you want to use these challenges to the Rockies' benefit?
I think you always want to keep the challenges for late in the game or impactful situations. You know, when we started doing it in Albuquerque, I think, Josh, you remember we had a couple players that were burning through our challenges like right out of the gate. Like first inning, we were done with challenges. We had to kind of calm everybody down.
We had a guy on the other team once challenge the very first pitch of the game. The least important pitch of the game. He challenged it and he got it wrong. That was on Tacoma.
I'm glad it was on the other team because I would have bet it was on us at that time. So you try to kind of keep them for certain impactful, areas where it could change the game or a dynamic could change the game or maybe one of our power hitters or we need to get ahead, etc. So I think that, as we talk through the strategy and we've gained traction in this area, and the strike zone has evolved, right? From when we first started in Albuquerque, it was tough. And Albuquerque's already tough enough to pitch, especially if you're throwing into a tennis ball can, like we had to. So it's ever evolving. You constantly talk strategy about that exact thing because obviously that's our new landscape at the big league level.
Are the pitchers allowed to challenge only the catcher and the hitter?
Well, certain pitchers that we trust. I'm still trying to digest the fact that Sean Sullivan said pitchers are athletes. Charlie and I couldn't look at each other that. So pitchers are allowed to challenge. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite questions to ask anybody, whether they're a professional baseball player or whether they're just a fan, and that is, who is your favorite player growing up and why? I think you can learn a lot about somebody. So everybody, down the line, who was your favorite player and why?
I grew up a big Red Sox fan in the Northeast, so my favorite player was David Ortiz.
Boo.
I just loved. I thought he was a great power hitter. I just love watching him. Came up close.
As a lefty, and I'm from the Dallas area, Clayton Kershaw grew up pretty close to where I did. So.
Boo.
Dedicated Rocky fans in this room.
I didn't really watch a whole lot of baseball.
Who's your favorite football player?
I would say my favorite football player. I was a really big Julio Jones fan. I was number 11, just like he was, and he's just a freak receiver. So.
I would say, being from Atlanta, either Chipper Jones or Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Big corner infielders, big power bats, fun to watch.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to go one last question down the line. One of my other favorite questions asked earlier about getting traded, but when you found out that you got drafted, who was around you? How big of a party was it? How did you find out, and what did you think the day you got drafted?
Yeah, I was kind of in a different scenario. I didn't really know whether or not I was going to be drafted or not, or whether I was going back to school. So I didn't have any party or anything. It was just me, my mom, and my dad, just nervous sitting there. And then I finally got the phone call, and it was a big, big relief. But yeah, it was a great day.
Kind of similar situation. I was a draft eligible sophomore, so I wasn't 100% sure whether I was going to go back to school or not. But my Wi-Fi went out at my house, so I had to go to my mom's office, and I sat there by myself. And then I didn't get picked when I thought I would, so I went home, laid in bed, and waited until I got a call, and that was it. So. Not very exciting.
I had a watch party with family and some friends. Just the people that have impacted my life the most. Wanted to be able to share that moment with them. So it was a great day, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kept it tight too. It was just immediate family with my grandparents, and then my brother and sisters, fiancés were also there. But other than that, it was just a small group. I mean, that draft day is such an exciting day. There's so much build-up and anticipation for really what is about 30 seconds of excitement. So you're kind of just like hanging around all day, and then when you get picked, it's awesome. And then to sit back and what I enjoyed most about draft day was sitting back and watching a lot of my buddies get picked as well too. So that was really fun to be able to have a quieter setting to where you could kind of sit down and watch your buddies fulfill their dreams as well.
All right, we started with the farm director. We're going to end with the farm director. Final question is for Chris Forbes, and I would say whether it's these four, but all the other 100 plus players in the Rockies minor league system, just kind of give us an overview of what the expectation is, what it means to be a Rocky, even if you're not in Denver, wherever you are in the minor leagues. What are the expectations of what it means to be a Rocky?
I think that's kind of multifaceted. I'm around Charlie's size 16 shoe here. I think it's kind of multifaceted question as we start kind of growing into this new era that we're finding ourselves in, from a pitching development, how we're going to acquire players, which is going to be multifaceted. We're looking at that makeup piece, what makes these guys tick. We're looking at what they do, how we can expand, where the 1%, how we can get them better every single day. So, I think it's pretty a broad question. I could be at Tom's and have a beer and talk more about it if you want to meet me over there. But ultimately, we've talked a lot this week in certain strategies, certain dynamics we're going to put in play this year and get into a lot of a modern setting in how we develop players, especially on the pitching side. I think you're seeing a seismic shift in how we're talking about it. And then ultimately, what you want, from a team in a market of this size and truly a sports town, and I know tomorrow's your big day.
Woo!
But is that, you have guys that were growing up in a culture that want to be here, and they want to get this thing turned, and that's what you've seen, whether you were in just this panel or the panel before there. These guys are here for the win, and here for the win in Denver, and that's what we're trying to grow and foster with them. So I think we've got the right group.
All right, outstanding. How about a round of applause for everyone? Thank you all for your questions. Thanks for joining us at Rockies Fest. Can't wait till baseball season gets started, right?
Yep.
Go out to spring training, go here, go to Albuquerque, go to Hartford, come support the Rockies everywhere. Thank you.